Reen had many facets to her personality. She was very patient and had quite a stubborn streak. Both of these stood her in excellent stead during her decades-long fight to have her simple herbal remedy accepted by the various authorities, governmental and medical. She had a very sharp mind, a big, somewhat puckish sense of humor, and a heart that wanted to help the world. One evening in 1922, when Reen was on her rounds at the hospital, she met an elderly Englishwoman. Reen is going to tell us now what happened that fateful evening.
My nurse, one of the nurses, was bathing this patient, and I happened to walk in, and I noticed the breast scar tissue, and I asked about it. So she told me all the story about how she had come from England to prospect with her husband up in northern Ontario, and the Indians offered the herbs, and her husband wouldn't listen to that. He took her down to Toronto to make sure what it was. So they came down and they advised her to have it operated. And she had seen a friend of hers have that operation, and she didn't want an operation. So she said they went back, and the Indians told her about these herbs. She said she made tea with it, and they eventually showed her how to get them herself. She took them for, she said, over a year. So that's what interested me. So anyway, I asked her if she mind telling me what the herbs were, and she did. She was willing to do it, so I wrote them down. So anyway, I didn't think I'd ever have any use for it, you know. But about a year and a half after it was that I got word that my dearest aunt, my mother's only sister, had been operated on in Brockville by the Beaumonts. So I asked Dr. R.O. Fisher, her doctor, if I could use the herbs, and he said, certainly. He said, there's nothing we can do. So I said, will you keep track of how she's getting along? Because I said, I don't know anything about these herbs, but I'm just going to try them. He watched me, and he saw the results, saw her get better.
And your aunt drank this stuff?
Yes. I gave it to her every day. Oh, I gave it to her for a year or more, but she never had any more trouble.
How long was she taking it when it became apparent that it was doing some good?
Oh, I think about 2 months. We noticed a difference, that she was eating and she was digesting her food, which she hadn't been doing before.
Over the next few years, Reen and Dr. Fisher experimented with the herbs. Reen was only given a list of 8 herbs, and she had to gather them herself.
Where would you gather the herbs? Are they just common herbs that grow all over the place?
Some of them are. Some of them I had to get from the wholesalers. First it was 8 different kinds. There were so few of them here. I could use some that were here, and then I had to get them from the wholesales. And you see, in those days, there was no spraying, there was no radioactive fallout, there was nothing like that. You could pick things up my father owned a Case Island down here in the Muskoka Lakes, and I'd go down there and get what I could there, and
But you could trust any herb that you'd pick, then you'd know it would be pure.
Oh yes, definitely. There was no content with any kind of spray or anything like that. It was a different world I lived in.